Hi friends, welcome to my channel, Yaya's Heart Tarot. Today is April 16th, 2023. It's my birthday. I'd like to do 3 readings today to connect you with departed loved ones. You can choose whichever reading calls to you or listen to more than one if you'd like. And I sincerely hope that whatever you choose will connect you with whatever wisdom you need to find. These are general readings, so everything may not align entirely for you, but take what resonates and leave the rest, and hopefully this will provide for you a connection that is meaningful, and whatever it is that you need, you'll get from this reading. So group number 1 is Chrysocolla. The stone has some beautiful druzy here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the camera, but it's a gorgeous stone. So that's group 1 is Chrysocolla. Group 2 is yellow calcite. Very, very sunny, happy, uplifting stone. Chrysocolla, by the way, is an extremely healing stone and also focuses on the throat chakra. Yellow calcite would be focused on the solar plexus chakra. However, calcite is a very gentle stone, so it works in a very gentle way with your chakras. Any of the colors of calcite will do that. This particular one, because it's yellow, works with your solar plexus chakra. And group number 3 is Pyrite and Hemitite quartz. Pyrite and Hemitite quartz. Hemitite quartz would, this is a complex stone. Hemitite quartz would work with your root chakra. Quartz is an amplifier, and pyrite also could work with the root, or it could work with the solar plexus chakra. Pyrite also is a very divine masculine amplifier. And Chrysocolla, I think of Chrysocolla as a feminine stone. That's just my interpretation of it. And then, of course, calcite. Calcite almost to me seems like it's can go either way as far as masculine or feminine goes. It's almost kind of a connector type stone, so it's appropriate that it sits here in between the other two. So group 1 is Chrysocolla. Group 2 is yellow calcite, and group 3 is hematite quartz and pyrite. So take whatever time that you need, choose the group that calls to you, and when you're ready, click on the timestamp that's listed in the description that corresponds to your reading, and I'll see you there. Hi group 1, this is your reading, the Chrysocolla group. The first message that we would like to get, please Spirit, is who is coming through for group 1? Who is it that's coming through for group 1, please? Okay, so we got the 6 of Wands, we got the 8 of Discs, we got the Knight of Discs, and we got the Devil. So this was a person who worked extremely hard, and they mastered their craft. They were a master of their craft. They were very, very thorough, very exacting in their work, and their work was probably highly sought after. It's very likely that what they did was a physical type of craft. They probably made something. They may have been more in a service industry, but if they were in a service industry, it was probably a care industry where they cared for people, And I don't feel as though this was necessarily would be like a doctor or something like that. It would be more like a nurse or a physical therapist or something if they were in that type of work, because this is the type of work that would require commitment over a long term. So either they created something, they built something that required them to be committed to a particular piece for a long period of time until it was completed, until it was perfected, or if they were in some sort of a service-related business, it would be something where they were connected with individuals over a long period of time to help them perfect themselves. So this could have been a teacher as well. Not as likely, but it's possible. If it was a teacher, it would probably be someone more along the lines of a one-on-one, perhaps like a vocal coach or something along those lines. But it was someone who worked very closely with whatever it was that they were crafting, be that, a piece of furniture or something physical, or whether it was an individual, to work with that individual to perfect their craft or to perfect their body or to heal their wounds over time. So that's who this individual was. Spirit, thank you for that message. And Spirit, how was Group 1 connected with this individual? Loved one of Group 1, how were you and Group 1 connected with each other? What was the connection here? Wow, that just flew right out. Okay. The 6 of Discs and the 3 of Swords. Interesting. Well, this was probably someone that you were connected with in your childhood. Spirit, can I have some more information on the 3 of Swords? Why is this here? The Hierophant. Okay, I feel as though you may have had kind of a sad childhood. And this individual was someone who taught you how to get through that. I don't know if that was some sort of difficulty that involved maybe a physical difficulty, or this was an emotional difficulty, or perhaps you lost a parent or your parents were not there for you. And this individual, they didn't coddle you, and they didn't necessarily take you in, although they may have, but they taught you how to get through this difficulty. They showed you how to find your own strength to get through whatever it was that was hard for you as a child. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. And Spirit, what was the most important thing to you or to Group 1 about your connection together? What was the most important thing about this connection together? Okay, we got the 7 of Wands, we got the Star card, we got the 6 of Cups, and the 6 of Swords. Okay. So, the most important thing about this connection to your departed loved one, Group 1, is that you were able to stand on your own 2 feet. That you were able to assess situations in your life and know whether or not you should stay in that situation or whether you should break away from that situation. And not just that you would know that, but that you were able to do that. It was important to them that you had the strength to deal with whatever came up in your life, and that you had the knowledge or understanding to be able to like read a situation to know whether or not it was going to be good for you. I feel like they had a hand in teaching you that, and it was really important for them to see, especially now that they've left, that you're able to put that into practice and to be able to protect your life and to make your life successful through this ability to not only identify what's good for you, but to be able to leave something that is not good for you, even if it's difficult to step away from that. That's what was very important to them in this connection. The Spirit, thank you for that message. So, Spirit, is there anything that you would change or emphasize about this connection with your loved one, Spirit? Is there anything that you'd like to emphasize about this connection, or that you would change about it? Would have changed about it if you could? Okay. Well, I feel as though there was something that happened in this relationship. It may have been that your departed loved one, group one, became too enmeshed in your life. They saw you perhaps getting into a situation that they felt that you should walk away from, that you should leave, something that was a heavy burden for you to carry. And they became too overprotective. And so they tried to manipulate the situation for you. They stepped in, perhaps, and they didn't give you the opportunity to handle it on your own because they were afraid of where this situation was going to lead. They didn't want you to get hurt. They didn't want you to make a mistake. So they may have jumped in and sort of took over for you. And that may have been there may have been a rift between the two of you because of this. Because you felt like you could handle the situation on your own, and you were angry that they stepped in. It brings to mind, I'm getting a picture of like a bully at school where you want to handle the situation, but they want to jump in and help you out of the situation before you get hurt. But by them jumping in, it actually makes matters worse because now the bully is angry and perhaps even escalates the situation. So I feel like that's kind of the situation that came up. They were trying very much, the Queen of Cups here, they were trying so hard to take care of you because they love you so much and they want to make everything easy for you. They want to make your life happy. They want to show you how much they love you. But because of that, they may have gotten way too enmeshed in a particular situation, tried to do things for you, tried to get you out of the situation, when in fact they should have stepped back and let you handle it. So that's what they would have changed if they had the opportunity to change something, or that they would have done differently. Spirit, thank you for that message. Loved one of Group 1, what is your final message to Group 1? What would be your final message to them, please? Okay, so the final message, at least so far what I'm getting here, and I'd like to get a little bit more, please. Yeah, their final message is that I think they're kind of warning you against jumping into anything too rashly or too quickly. they're afraid that if you jump into a situation without testing the waters or without really analyzing the situation, that you're going to end up getting hurt by it. Because they say that you have too big of a heart. You have this big heart that just trusts everyone and wants to jump in and bail anybody out and help them. You're a lot like your loved one. You don't want to see your friends get hurt. So you want to always be there, and so you are quick to jump into a situation if you fear that a loved one might be hurt by it. So you're quick to throw yourself on the what's the expression? Throw yourself on the grenade to save your friends. So they are, I think, cautioning you against being rash about jumping in, A, because you can be the one that gets hurt, and B, because that's what they did for you, and it ended up creating a divide between the two of you. Spirit, could I have any more messages, any more information or clarity about this message, please, or any other final message that you might have for your loved ones? Yeah. We got the Two of Cups and we got the Moon card. They just want you to see how much they loved you. And they want you to see how much you were like them, and how much you are like them now. They just very much want you to know that everything they did for you during their lifetime was because of how much that they loved you. And they still do, and they want you to know that. This is a beautiful card, the Two of Cups. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. So, so that's their message to you. They want you to know how much they love you and they're watching out for you, but that they see how much you are they when your world was rocked, for some of you, they gave you stability. They brought you, when everything seemed like it was just crumbling under your feet. This was the individual who brought everything back together for you and gave you a sturdy foundation to land. And this is someone that you maybe never thought that you would ever have in your life. You may have been, when you met this individual, some of you may have been at a point in your life where you didn't feel very deserving. Perhaps you didn't have a very high opinion of yourself. Perhaps you were in a broken life. And this individual came and they turned everything around for you. So that's how you were connected with this individual. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. Whew. What, Spirit, was most important to you about this connection? Group 2, what was most important to the two of you about this connection? Three of Pentacles. Excuse me, the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Swords. The Knight of Swords. And the Death card. What was most important to this departed loved one is that they were able to keep you safe. You and your family, meaning you had a family together, very likely. Maybe for some of you, not all of you. But what was very important to this departed loved one is that they were able to always keep you safe. They saw you as the provider or the nurturer of the family, as well as they really valued your opinions and your wisdom. And they saw themselves as your protector. I don't know if I can hold up these cards in a way that will show you what I'm seeing here. But the Queen's in the center. The Queen who provides the nurturing, keeps the household together, and the Queen who provides the wisdom and insight, the one who keeps the household running because she knows how to do that. That's you. And then the two on the outside, the horses and the riders, excuse me, are going away from. So they are doing battle with anything that might try and come in from any direction. So they're keeping you safe. They're keeping the center part safe where you and the family reside. So that's what was most important to this departed loved one, was that they were able to keep you, and if you had a family, your family safe. Spirit, thank you for that message. Is there anything that you would change or emphasize about this connection that you had with your loved one here in group 2? Anything that you would change or emphasize about the connection that you had with this loved one here in group 2, please? Okay, so what they would have changed, if anything, is that they felt that they spent perhaps too much time and energy trying to keep the family safe, and that they wish that they had spent more time. This is a card of marriage or of commitment. And then this is the King of Cups, so that they wish that perhaps they had spent more time at home, maybe more time just being more, and maybe not necessarily more time at home, but they wish that they had been more forthcoming with their emotions, more vocal about their emotions, more demonstrative about their emotions. They just are the only thing that they regret is that they maybe tried to be too much of a protector and not enough of a nurturer. Which is not to say that they weren't nurturing, they just felt like maybe they didn't show it as often as they would have liked to. So that's what they would have changed or emphasized about the relationship. They would have just shown you more and shown the family more, if there was a family, outwardly how much that they loved you. They would have said, I love you more. They maybe would have given hugs more. They maybe would have taken more time to sit down together and play, whatever it was, but just to show that emotion more than they did. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. And do you have any final messages for your loved ones in Group 2, please, Spirit? Any final messages for your loved ones in Group 2? Okay. So we got the Knight of Pentacles, the Justice card, Three of Cups, and the Judgment card. Your loved one is happy that they can spend all of eternity with you. I can't add much more than that. They are with you still. They will always be with you. I feel as though they've been with you through many, many lifetimes. They've shared celebrations with you. They're not going anywhere in a spirit form. And they are just saying that they always want to be with you through all of eternity. So, wow. Thank you, Spirit. What a beautiful message. Simple and to the point. What a lovely person. Let's take a look at the advice card that we pulled ahead of time. This is from, gosh, I should really pay attention to what the name of it is. It's Health and the Law of Attraction or something like that. It's really not entirely appropriate to this type of reading, but it was what called to me. So it says, I can choose the thoughts I think about my food. Your observation of the results of others' experiences with food gives you scanty and inadequate information, for unless you are factoring in desire and expectation when calculating the action of what has or has not been eaten is irrelevant. You simply cannot leave out the most important ingredient in the recipe of creation and understand the outcome. People respond differently to the food because the food is not the constant. The thought is. It is the way you are thinking about food that is making that difference. I don't know why this deck was calling to me. Maybe you needed to hear this message. But this may just be a veiled reference to not comparing your circumstances to anyone else's, because on the surface it may look similar, but underneath it all, there are always factors that you aren't aware of with other people. So that message may resonate for you in some way. But I hope that this reading has been helpful for you, and I greatly appreciate your being here with me. If you haven't done so already and you are so inclined, I would be grateful if you would want to like and subscribe to my channel. But most of all, I'm just grateful that you're here, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Hi, Group 3. This is your reading, the Hemitite, Quartz, and Pyrite reading. The first question that we would like to pose is, who is coming through for you today? Who's coming through for Group 3, please? Who is coming through for Group 3? Who is coming through for group 3 today? Okay, so we got the 6 of Pentacles, we got the 8 of Cups, the 2 of Pentacles, and the 4 of Pentacles. This is an individual who is very frugal with their money. They always had concerns that there was not enough money, so they were very tight with their money, very conservative. They may have been fairly devoid of emotion as well. They may have been all work and no play. I feel like it came from a good place. They always wanted to make sure that their family was provided for. But it perhaps made them an individual who was not emotionally available. Someone who came off as being more concerned about work than relationships. And it may have been, and it probably, in fact, I'm getting a feeling that it was because that was how they expressed their love, was by making sure that their family or their loved ones, or, even if they didn't have a lot of loved ones, they were someone who felt like their character was determined by, being able to pay their bills and being responsible. So their life was very centered around taking their responsibility very seriously. They may have been a bit of a workaholic. Again, I'm getting the feeling that they were sort of emotionally distant. Because, they may have been the type that they went to work, put in a hard day's work, came home late, they were tired, just didn't have a lot of energy left or time to interact with family or friends, and then they got up and did it all again the next day. So that's who this person was. Spirit, thank you for that message. And how were you connected to group 3? How was this departed loved one connected to you, group 3? Okay, we got the 3 of Pentacles, we got the 3 of Cups, and we got the 10 of Pentacles. I feel like this was an individual who worked hard so that you didn't have to. They were someone, I'm going to guess that it was perhaps a parent or some sort of a caregiver. And they worked very hard, 3 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles, so that you would have enough and that you didn't have to work hard. And I feel like, this isn't exactly the question that I asked, but I think this is the individual trying to maybe explain why it was that they worked so hard. They really had a good motivation. They wanted to work really hard so that their children didn't have to. So that their family or whoever they provided for didn't have to work as hard as they did their whole life. Spirit, can I get some more clarity on how you were connected What was your relationship with group 3, please? How were you related or connected to group 3, please? Seven of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. Yeah, so I feel like there's a connection by marriage here, but it's not that you're married to them. It's a marriage that happened a long time ago compared to you. So I feel as though this was a parent or perhaps even a grandparent, but it was probably a biological relative, and you were their offspring or their progeny of some sort. So I'm feeling like this was a parent or a grandparent to you. Yeah, because they were connected through matrimony, but at a distance. So yes, this was. I'm guessing probably a father, but not necessarily. This was just a parent or grandparent who provided for you. Spirit, thank you for that message. And what was the most important thing about this relationship with group 3, please? What was the most important thing to you about this relationship with group 3? I feel like I need a different deck. I'm not sure which one, though. I feel as though it's this one. Spirit, what was the most important thing about your relationship with regard to group 3? So I have the Four of Swords, the Four of Pentacles. The Moon, and the Nine of Wands. Spirit, can I get some more clarity on this, please? Okay, the Fool. Oh, okay. Yeah, the most important thing to this individual, again, and we're going back to the same message that we had before, is that you would never want for anything. They wanted to always be certain that you would never be in a position where you didn't know where your next meal was coming from. I'm getting the feeling that this individual came from a very impoverished background, perhaps. They didn't always have food. They didn't always know if they were going to be able to eat when they were a child. And so they don't ever want you to be in that situation. They don't ever want you to know the extreme, just having to work so hard that you are almost completely depleted just so that you know where your next meal is going to come from, just so that you know that you can eat and that perhaps you can feed your family. They don't ever want you to know that type of struggle. So what's most important to them is that they were able to keep that from becoming your reality, so that you didn't ever have to know that struggle, that need, that difficulty. That was most important to you, to them, that they provided for you an existence or a living that you never found yourself in a place that was wanting for anything. Again, we need a new deck. Spirit, thank you so much for that message. Is there anything, Spirit, that you would have changed or would like to emphasize to your loved one with regard to your connection, your life here? Anything that you would have changed or would like to emphasize to your loved ones in group 3, please? This isn't the deck. This one is what we need. Spirit, anything that you would like to emphasize or you would have changed? The Queen of Earth, the Hierophant, the Ten of Wands, and the Bridge. They didn't feel like they could really communicate with you. They didn't feel like there was really that big of a connection, they felt like there was sort of a chasm between you, that neither one of you understood the other one very well. They felt like they were kind of the establishment generation, whereas you were more of a newer generation that was more perhaps nature-oriented, less structural-oriented, and they wish that the two of you could have understood each other better. They wish that they could have understood you and you could have understood them, and that you could have come to an understanding between the two of you that brought you together, that brought you closer together, that gave you an appreciation for each other, because they felt like, they just really felt like they didn't really understand you and you didn't really understand them, but they wanted to. It's just that your values were vastly different, and your experiences throughout your lives were vastly different. So it wasn't that you didn't want to necessarily be close to each other or understand each other. It was just that there was such this divide between each one of your experiences that you didn't even know where to start. This loved one didn't know where to start. There was such a big difference. There was such a huge difference. They felt like there wasn't much in common that they could even talk about. It was, it was the kind of, if you found yourself in a room together, there were just lots of pregnant pauses. Nobody knew what to say. Lots of one-word answers, and then just silence. And so they wish that they had been able to communicate, that you would have been able to understand each other better, so you could have come together and had more of a connection. Spirit, thank you for that message. Is there any final messages that you would like to give to your loved one, please? Spirit, final messages that you'd like to give to your loved one in group 3. They want you to know that they were sort of trapped in a male-dominant persona of their era, that they didn't know how to get past that. It was that men don't show emotion kind of thing. I strongly feel that this was a man, and even if it wasn't a man, this was an individual who was brought up in the era of, you soldiered through whatever happened. You had to be strong. So they wish that they could have been more balanced with regard to their desire to always be working to provide, and their inability to connect, and to be soft and to take time to connect. They really, really wish that they had been able to kind of bypass that, but they felt like they were really pretty trapped within the expectations of their generation, that they had to always be strong and working hard and very, very not just physically strong, but emotionally strong too, and not show any sort of emotion. But they recognize now that that wasn't necessarily a good way to be. It was what they had to do to get through, they felt, at that time. But they are, I think that they're sad that they missed out on being able to connect with you. I feel like there was like a couple of generations between you here. Yeah, we got the World. So they want you to know that you meant the world to them. But they just didn't know how to tell you that. So they want you to know now. So I hope that this reading has provided something good for you, some closure if you needed it, just maybe a little more understanding. We pulled an advice card ahead of time. I'm finding out from the other two groups that these cards are not really very appropriate for this reading. I'm not sure why this deck called to me, so take this with a grain of salt. This is, I believe, Health and the Law of Attraction. And it says most are attracting their less than wellness by default. Most who are attracting less than wellness are doing so by default. They may very well desire wellness, but the majority of their thoughts do not support wellness. It is not a good idea to try to evaluate what anyone else is living, but you can always know where you stand relative to what you want. And if you pay attention to the feelings within you, you'll find yourself guiding your thoughts more of the time in the direction of that which will ultimately please you. So, this card is talking about taking control of your thoughts about what you want and who you are and what you're doing to create your reality. Perhaps, this relates to this reading in that in focusing upon your own thoughts and your own reality, you may not get caught up in societal expectations, which it seems that your loved one kind of did at the time. Or it may just be some general advice for you. Who knows? Anyway, I hope that this reading was valuable to you. If it was and you feel so inclined, I would be grateful if you would like and subscribe to my channel if you've not already done so. But mostly I'm just grateful that you're here, and I welcome you back anytime. So thank you so much for being here with me. Bye-bye.